What's up guys, welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/ProRevenge. This story's called, I Got a Child Predator Fired Today. Quick background. I'm not a cosplayer myself, but I have plenty of friends who are, and so I'm in an online community group with cosplay and gaming as its main focuses. I'm not active in it, but the group itself is 16,000 and constantly growing in size, what is considered quite big for my country's social media standards. No surprise though that more than half of the members are 13 to 17-year-old boys and girls. There's an ongoing debate in this group for almost a year now about what's considered real cosplay. Bear with me, I swear it will add to the story later. Imagine it like there's a group of people who are creating character-based cosplays for movies and series, and there's another who buys a wig and lingerie to pull a Belle Delphine and calls it a day. My opinion on this doesn't matter, but the second group is also known for posting provocative, lewd, and sometimes straight-on not safe for work photo shoots right into this collective group without any warnings. Sadly, the laws in my country aren't advanced enough yet to make this illegal. I'm from an old European country with great historical universities. Our school system is also quite traditional, so it's like everyone wants to go to these big-named universities with full tuition scholarships, and the ones that are privately owned have to fight for their students. I happen to study at one of the oldest universities in our capital city. This will also be important later. So on to the story. One of my friends posted on her private page about this issue, and I noticed a girl commenting that everyone should let them be.
And anyways, it's natural for 12 to 14-year-olds to watch their parents and other adults naked while bathing or just walking in their home. If anything, they should be glad that these cosplayers are doing favors by enlightening the kids about female bodies and sexuality. I won't make any warnings when the young boys are interested in this anyway, and they can find it everywhere.
My blood pressure went from 0 to 100 in the few seconds of reading this. So I replied, trying to contain my anger and simply telling her that no, it isn't normal for kids to be exposed to such at such a young age. I get that this is a cosplay group and she wants to share her content, but she should simply put a warning on it and everyone would shut up. At least then it would be the stupid kid clicking on it and not her blatantly sharing it into their faces. And the fact that kids are exposed to such content easily at many media types doesn't mean she should willingly be one of them. She replied stating that I'm clearly a prude and we live in very different worlds. She accepts and respects mine. I should also do so with her views because this is also cosplay. After this, I simply told her that, yes, I live in a world where we don't sexualize children and parents don't expose kids to sex. And I see that she didn't get my point, because I never said it isn't cosplaying. I simply stated that it's highly inappropriate for young audiences. In her next reply, she went ballistic with the curses. It was quite entertaining, but not in English, so I can't add it here. But amongst a lot of other stuff, she told me that I'm, 25 female, just a little inexperienced high school girl, and I have no say in this. Then, the original post got removed by my friend because she and her followers started to get super personal and vulgar with her, and the goal wasn't that. 2 days pass, and I almost completely forgot about this interaction when I get the message from this friend that this woman kept messaging her through these 2 days, and she's so tired and done with this whole thing. I also got the screenshots. Now, in these private messages, she starts by telling this younger girl that she's a leader at a foundation that is helping young adults who came from an unsecured household. Then she states that she only wants good for her, and she sees her as one of her mentored ones. In the following 2 days, she managed to tell this visibly insecure girl that no one loves her, she deserves only hate, and she hopes it will teach her a lesson. She has mental problems and should seek professional help immediately because of her views and approach. This one at least 3 times. They are clearly right because there are more of them. The way my friend isn't changing her opinion is a sign of malice and idiocracy. She will die alone, hated by everyone, and so on with some other smaller claims. My friend was handling it quite well, but to be honest, I understand why she eventually got fed up. To the obvious question of why she didn't just block her, at the same time, her followers and friends were all ridiculing her and tagging her on hateful public posts and stories. She thought that maybe if she can stop the main bully with reasoning, the others will stop as well. Now to the revenge part. I can't express how much I hate when someone goes after the insecure quiet one to feel dominant. It wasn't hard to find her job. She was stupid enough to use her real name on her cosplay page, and lo and behold, she's a simple voluntary mentor at a nationwide university project at a small countryside private-owned university. It took around 15 minutes to find the correct email addresses and type up a simple and short email about my concerns that she's behaving this way while using her position at the university to back it up, bringing a bad reputation to the university. Her behavior is also discouraging the young people she interacts with from this project, and I just want to warn them before she hurts someone in need. I put every single address I could find from the project office in university as a recipient and sent it along with the screenshots of their private conversation and public comments with the sign off on my name in university. The nationwide project is also centrally hosted by my university. It didn't even take 30 minutes and she got a call that she's temporarily terminated. I might update this later if there's interest for it. I know this because of the backlash and panic on her and her followers' social media. The hysteria is still going on at this moment. Her defense is that the screenshots are forged and that I want to get her fired because I hate lewd cosplayers. I want to see you convincing your bosses about that, Sherlock. Clarification. She didn't lose an actual paying job. They terminated her volunteer status until the investigation on the situation is finished, as I stated above. I believe that's how they could react so quickly. I sent them an email during office hours. I don't see why they wouldn't. Update! The Facebook profile she sent the messages from is gone. I don't know if someone flagged it or she took it down, so the text won't lead back to her profile. Update 2! She sent another girl to tell my friend that I should write an apology email to the project office. I told them that my DMs are open if she wants to talk. I wrote like 6 sentences with my real name. I don't see why I should apologize. The stuff she got burned for was there with her own words. It was her DMs. Edit! I can't edit the title anymore, but I see your claims about this not being a child predator. English isn't my first language, and in my native tongue, we use the corresponding term for anyone who sexually exploits children in any way, be that showing them NSFW pictures or physical contact. Still, I'm sorry for misusing the English term. I would change it if I could. Edit 2! I also see some questions about how not safe for work her content was. And maybe it's just my personal judgment. The content in question is dominatrix outfits, pole dancer in leather lingerie, and bondage with lingerie content. Not enough to be actual video of the adult variety, but it's definitely not safe for work content. Okay, at first, to be honest, I thought OP was a little bit in the wrong, and then they pointed out that they literally just asked her to tag the pictures as not safe for work, which I assumed was already done. So the fact that she's not even willing to do that and then she gave her reasoning, yeah, that's disgusting. Don't be exposing yourself to children. I know every 14-year-old boy out there goes places on the internet that they shouldn't. However, you shouldn't be willingly showing them. I mean, even though, I know for a fact that when I was a 14-year-old boy, I definitely wouldn't mind an adult woman, you know what I'm saying. However, as an adult, you should definitely freaking know better than to do what she did. Nasty. Also, OP, you look dangerously close to gatekeeping cosplay. However, I do agree, I feel like the definition of cosplay is that you're playing as a character that already exists. However, if someone wants to make up a character that's kinda lewdy, let them do it. This story's called Don't Mess with the Holidays! Disclaimer, this story isn't mine, it's from a friend. Backstory. We live in Portugal. Here, there is a law that states if someone abandons a plot of land that is used by someone else for a minimum of 20 years, that person has the right to claim the land for themselves. This friend of mine has inherited a house in a town. This town is basically a beach holiday town. The rich people of the city nearby often had there a house and spent the whole summer there. This was in the early 20th century. Some people still do that, including my friend. So his family has been using a spot right next to their house as a playground for the kids for way more than 20 years, in fact for over 50. They hadn't yet needed to claim it since the owner didn't do anything to it, and as the whole neighborhood used it, doing that would be butthole-ish. Until 2 years ago, when he decided to sell it to a couple that built a 2-story house there. The house completely ruins the view that he had over the sea and also ruins the look of the neighborhood due to its differences to other houses. So my friend decided to claim the land. This was before the house was built, but since Portuguese justice is slow as fridge, the house was already fully built when it ended. This time with the approval of the other neighbors. The couple that had bought it had some friends in the justice system. The wife's mother was a retired judge, her sister was a very well-known and respected lawyer. So they managed to overcome my friend's claims on a technicality. But from the start, it was obvious that my friend should have gotten it. The way they got it was very shady. They only won because they knew people. And this is why he decided to get his revenge. The street between the two houses had free parking everywhere. This is because most people in the neighborhood are friends and don't have garages, so they park in front of their house. But the annoying neighbors had a garage. My friend had a truck that once was used for a restaurant of his, and he parked it right in front of their garage door permanently. It was legal since they hadn't paid the town council a yearly fee to have a non-parking spot there. After a few months, they decided to get that. That costs 8,000 euros a year to maintain. Until this point, it was more of a petty revenge. But the annoying neighbors had threatened to remove his vehicle before that. They have said that they would throw rocks at his windows, which they once did, that they would flood his garden, which they did repeatedly, and even that they would kill his dog, a German Shepherd. They tried that using a knife, but the dog bit the guy on his leg, and as you know, those dogs bite hard. The threats were all recorded by my friend, since he would record every conversation he'd have with them in person or over the phone. He had taken pictures of the window and the garden. He sued them, and this time, the influence wasn't enough. They had to pay 10,000 euros repair for the window and garden. He has a friend that evaluated the costs, conveniently quite highly, and had to pay him a further 30,000 in compensation for the mental health issues it caused. But wait, there is more. Remember when they tried to kill the dog? They had done it when he wasn't home, so he never even knew about it. Out of rage, they sued my friend for his dog biting the man's leg. He had to spend a week in the hospital as it got very badly infected, and tried to make him pay for the hospital fees in compensation. But he defended himself, saying they invaded his property and even sued them for that, which led to a 1-year suspended jail time. Which means if they were ever convicted of something, they will spend that year in jail on top of that conviction sentence. If they don't do anything else, they won't be going to jail. Hope you enjoyed this story. I certainly did when he told it to me. Okay, what kind of a sick bastard goes after a guy's dog? Because honestly, that could have ended very horribly, and I'm glad the dog freaking managed to bite the guy. Because if The Last of Us 2 taught me anything, dogs don't like knives. Alright guys, by now you know the drill. Anytime we do a revenge subreddit, I like to throw in a wholesome story or two if I can. And so today we're reading from r/wholesome stories, and the first teacher is called Teacher Defends Me Like I'm Her Own Kid. In the summer before I was in 3rd grade, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes and was on a strict eating plan, which I had to follow because I was new to having diabetes. So when I go to school, everyone was supportive of me, especially my teacher. Skip to the end of the year and we are doing our Provincial Achievement Test, or PATS. And in the middle of it, I have to eat a snack because of the eating plan, and the government official who was supervising said that I couldn't eat my snack because it could distract the other students. And here comes my teacher saying stuff along the lines of,
"Yes, he can. He needs to have a snack."
And a bit of back and forth. Later, my teacher is pretty much yelling at her, defending me, and the government official leaves the room, and the teacher checks up on me, asking if I'm okay and everything. 7 years later, my mom and dad are still friends with her, and my mom hangs out with her a lot still, and my diabetes is going great. When I graduate high school, I'm getting that teacher a big gift basket and visiting her as a surprise. Sorry if that was long. Okay, I want to cry. Oh my god, I love stuff like that. Teachers are great. I love teachers. Ignore the next story though. Alright, last wholesome story is called My Nana Takes Down a Racist Teacher. Okay, so my little sister, Michaela, is really white, despite being half black. The only black thing about her is her hair. She was in like the 3rd or 4th grade, and the teacher had them draw a self-portrait. My sister colored herself white, and the teacher saw and said she had to color herself black. My sister tried to explain that her skin was white, but the teacher kept saying that she was black, so she had to color herself black. This went on for 15 minutes, and at the end, the teacher was screaming at my sister to color herself black. My sister, sobbing, obeyed and colored herself black. And I mean black. Not brown, not tan, but charcoal black. My sister told my Nana, and my Nana was so angry. My Nana is a teacher too, and you can imagine how this made her feel. But she actually had a meeting with all the teachers and the principal a couple of days later. She went to the meeting and brought my other sister, Allie, who's a lot darker than Michaela, with her. After all the hellos were said, the principal asked my Nana if she had anything she'd like to say. My Nana said yes and stood up to her full 5 feet, looked directly into that teacher's eyes, and said, "I want you to explain to me why you thought it was appropriate to force a crying child to color herself black." The teacher went pale and tried to stutter excuses, but my Nana wasn't having it. In a calm, cool voice, she tore that teacher apart. She even brought Allie into the mix, asking the teacher if she would force Allie to color herself black. The teacher said no, and my Nana asked why she made Michaela do it when Allie is darker than her. After 30 minutes, my Nana was done. The teacher was pale and silent. The principal was red and kept apologizing. My Nana sat down and calmly spent the rest of the time talking about IEPs for my sister. I have more stories like this if you want. Ha, that's satisfying. If a child wants to color themselves as purple, then by God, let them color themselves as purple. Who are you to tell someone how to draw themselves? That is not the point of art, especially at that age. You don't necessarily want to teach them how to draw at that point. You want to let them do what they want to do, because art is so flexible. There's no definition of what is art and what isn't. One of the things that my art teacher from elementary, junior high, and high school always told us when going for realism is to draw what you see and not what you think you see. Ah, man, okay. A good thing the Nana was badass. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.